welcome back to the vlog. It is day 20 and it's pouring rain and cold and gloomy and gross, and it totally ruined all the plans that I had for today's vlog. So that being said, it's going to be an inside vlog, which means it's not really a vlog. What is this? If you're new here, my name is Brandon. I vlog every day about my life. Today, unfortunately, not going to be a vlog, really more of a how-to or how to not, I guess. It's going to be tattoo aftercare, the do's and don'ts of tattoo aftercare. If that's something you're not interested in at all, then feel free to check out this card right here to see yesterday's vlog. If you're totally new, people keep texting, like nobody texts me all day until I turn the camera on, and then this doesn't stop going. If tattoos are something that you're interested in, feel free to click this card right here, or down in the link below there's a link to see yesterday's vlog where we went out and did some exploring around BC. If you're really new here and you haven't seen any of the vlogs before, well, welcome. Hit the subscribe button, it's right down here, and there's another card right here with a playlist of all the vlogs for the past 20 days. With that being said, let's jump into the do's and don'ts of tattoo aftercare. Alright, so we're gonna continue this part of the video, the vlog. This isn't really a vlog. The do's and don'ts of tattoo aftercare. Literally every time I turn the camera on, the phone ding 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 ding. Tattoo aftercare. The do's and don'ts of tattoo aftercare. I want to preface this video by saying I'm not a medical professional. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a tattoo artist. These are my kind of tips and tricks and things that I have learned and used along the way as somebody who has lots of tattoos in multiple parts of my body from lots of different tattoo artists. I have 9 different tattoos all over my body from a bunch of different artists over different periods of time. So like I said, these are my opinions, things that I do when I get new tattoos to make sure that for me, my tattoos turn out the most colorful and heal the fastest possible that they possibly can. So let's jump into it. We'll start with day 1. Day 1 for me is the day that you're getting the tattoo done. What do you do when you're done sitting in the chair getting poked for hours? For me, bandage is most important. It's the last step of the process. It's the last thing that the tattoo artist is gonna do before you go home. So you have to know kind of the differences between the bandage types that they're gonna do for you and what the different aftercare procedures are for different types of bandages. If you get a gauze style bandage, which is just a big pad that they're gonna stick on top of your tattoo and they're gonna tape it up with some medical tape and leave it there, that one has different things that you need to do versus things like Saniderm, which is a clear plastic film. So let's start first with gauze style bandages. If your artist is using a gauze style bandage, it might be because they don't like to use Saniderm, or it could be because your tattoo is bleeding a lot or seeping a lot of ink, and so they're using the big bandage to mop all that up over a period of time. When you get one of those bandages on, you're gonna wanna leave it until you get home and usually take it off within 12 hours of getting your tattoo done. I like to sometimes leave mine overnight just to make sure that the tattoo has really drained out as much as possible, as much as it needs to, before I take that off, because otherwise it could be messy and you don't want to deal with that. When you go to take the bandage off, I actually like to do it in the shower. Sometimes it's gonna get stuck. It kind of hurts a little bit if you're pulling that off and it's just dry, so the water helps to get it off of there really well, and then you're not having to worry about it pulling on the tattoo and irritating it more. The next step you're gonna want to do is make sure you wash it really, really, really well with soap. And let's talk about soaps for a sec, because this is going to carry on through the rest of the video and the rest of your tattoo aftercare. For the soap, you want to make sure that whenever you're touching your tattoo, and especially right after you get the tattoo, that it's very, very clean. So you want to use an antimicrobial or antibacterial soap. The other thing you want to watch for is it needs to be unscented. If it's got any kind of scents or perfumes or fragrance, it's going to cause the tattoo to sting. So you want to make sure that you're getting a unscented soap. This is President's Choice Sensitive Skin Unscented. Surprisingly harder to find than I thought it was. I looked through 2 different grocery stores when I was looking for unscented soaps for my new tattoo, and this was ridiculously hard to find. It seems like everything scent-free still has some sort of fragrance in it. So back to taking the bandage off. If you're using that gauze style bandage, take it off with some water, make sure that it's not gonna peel and irritate. Get some soap on there, wash it off really well, make sure everything's nice and clean. You're gonna wanna pat that dry with a paper towel, because a paper towel is likely not gonna be holding as much bacteria as, say, your towel that's gonna be hanging on a towel rack, or your hand rag that's hanging beside your sink. But now, what if you have Saniderm? Saniderm is a clear plastic film that the tattoo artist will put over top of your tattoo in lieu of a gauze bandage. So I personally love Saniderm. It is my favorite, absolute favorite thing for tattoos, for the healing process, for the aftercare process, because it makes it super simple. So if you get Saniderm, consider yourself lucky. You got a great tattoo artist. You can skip so much of this video. Once they take the Saniderm, they're gonna put that on there. They'll have sanitized everything. Some artists will tell you to take it off when you get home or take it off the next day. I personally don't agree with that. A lot of the artists that I go to don't agree with that for a couple of different reasons. When you go to take Saniderm off right away, it's a cling wrap. It's an adhesive cling wrap, and it's going to hurt if you go to pull that off of there. It pulls on the tattoo, it causes irritation, and it's just not something that you want to deal with. The other thing for me, Saniderm seems to heal tattoos so much faster, and I really don't know what causes it, but I find when I have a Saniderm bandage put over a tattoo, I leave it for 3 to 5 days is what my current artist recommended, and I've used it for a bunch of tattoos since then. And after the 5-day period, I take the Saniderm off. It doesn't irritate it at that point anymore. It's pretty much fully healed, and it skips the scabbing stage, which is a big part of the healing process, and we'll talk about that later on in the video. But if you got Saniderm, leave it on for 3 to 5 days. You can skip these next couple steps. So let's say that you weren't lucky enough to get a Saniderm bandage put on your tattoo and you got the regular gauze. What are you doing in the first week of taking care of your tattoo? Like we said, after the first 12 hours or so, you're gonna want to take that bandage off, give it a good wash down, pat that dry with paper towel, and you're pretty much gonna want to continue that process over the next week. The next week should look like this. Every day, you're gonna be wanting to wash this as much as possible, like 5 times a day minimum, to keep it as clean as possible. Consider this a giant open wound, because that's essentially what it is. It's a big road rash, really, is how you could look at it. Always make sure your hands are washed really well, wash your tattoo regularly, 5 times a day minimum, and moisturize it. Continue this every day for the first week of getting your tattoo. And when we talk about moisturizing lotion, what's going to be the best things to use? Some artists are going to tell you to use A&D ointment. It might be a little packet that they're going to give you. Personally, I don't like using it, and there's a couple different reasons why. One of the main things you don't want to use is anything with a petroleum base. Petroleum is what Vaseline is made out of. And the reason that you don't want to do that is because petroleum actually attracts dirt and dust, and that means it's going to stick to your tattoo, and it's going to get gross and infected potentially, and that's just never fun. So always look for some sort of a lotion that is, again, fragrance free, like the soap. We don't want it to sting, and petroleum free. So I personally use this. This is a Lubriderm unscented lotion, and it has no fragrance, no perfumes in it, and if you go through the ingredients list, there's no petroleum based products in there. I find it to be fantastic. Another thing you can do, there's companies out there that make specific tattoo care products. Tattoo Goo, this is pretty old actually. This is from like my first or second tattoo, but I just still have the bottle kicking around. Things like I said, you have to watch out for things with petroleum in them. This is Gauze base, which is a regular moisturizing lotion. It's great for sensitive skin, dry skin, but as you get down through the bottom of the ingredients list there's petroleum as one of the last things. So this is not something that I would use on my tattoo. The reason that you want to keep your tattoo well moisturized, especially for the first 2 weeks of having that new tattoo, is it's going to start to get dry and it's going to start to get cracked and peely, and you just want to keep it as moisturized as possible. It's going to help it heal better, it's going to help it heal faster, it's not going to hurt as much or be as itchy. Also, if you're at the end of the first week now, likely 5 days have gone by, and if you were lucky enough to get Saniderm, you're taking that Saniderm off, giving it the nice wash down. You can follow along from here and just happen to know that you're probably going to end up healing a lot quicker. You might not even scab up and start to peel, but continue to wash and moisturize as directed for the remainder of this video. Now, likely after that first week, getting near the end of the first week, into the second week, is when your tattoo is going to start to scab up. It's going to start to get itchy. It's going to start to flake. It's essentially going to look like a big sunburn where all the skin starts to peel off. It gets really gross and starts flaking everywhere. Do not, under any circumstances, do not peel or scratch or pull at your tattoo, ever. There's lots of different reasons for not wanting to do this. One, you're getting germs off your dirty little fingers onto your tattoo, which you don't want to do. You don't want it to get infected. And two, it's gonna heal at different rates underneath all of the scabs and all the parts that you're gonna be wanting to pull on. So you might peel something off that's now going to go into a part of your tattoo that hasn't fully healed, and then you could end up ruining or damaging the ink underneath the skin because you're pulling on like not healed skin, you're pulling dead skin into not really dead. Don't peel your tattoos. Within the second week, you can start to slow down a little bit on the washing, not so much the moisturize. When I get into the second week, it's been 2 weeks since the time that I've been in the chair. I don't wash like 5+ times a day. I'm going like 3 to 5. Kind of whenever you're washing your hands before you're eating or after you've used the washroom, I just get some more water on there, give it a good rinse. If your tattoo is like up on your chest or on your leg, somewhere where it's covered and it's not getting as much contact with the outside world, you're probably safe at like 3 times a day. But for me, most of my tattoos are on my forearm. They're touching my desk all day. They're touching things in the car. I try to still wash this as much as possible, so 3 to 5 times instead of 5+ in the first week. And again, keeping the moisturizing up as much as possible in the second week, because that's when it's gonna get really dry, really scabby. You're gonna go through a lot of this, like 5+ times a day. Really, I just moisturize whenever I'm thinking about it. Whenever it starts to get itchy or it starts to hurt, that's when I start to moisturize it. One of the things you do need to look for though is not over moisturizing, which kind of sounds counterintuitive, but trust me, there's a method to the madness. The lotion that you're going to be using, you want to use it as much as possible to keep your skin moisturized, but you don't want to oversaturate it, because what can actually happen, apparently, I haven't had it happen, and I don't really know how it could happen, is if you put too much moisturizer on your tattoo when it's still fresh, it can actually lift the ink and cause fading. I don't know what causes that. I don't know how that works, but I've been told by multiple tattoo artists that that can be the case. So when you're putting your lotion on your tattoo, you want to make sure that it's not shiny. You've got just enough on there that once you've fully rubbed it in, your skin's back to its normal shine and it's not like overly saturated, right? You know. So now you've done 2 weeks. Since you sat in the chair, since you got poked, you're on to week 3. What's the procedure here? Likely, if you had Saniderm as your bandage on your tattoo, you might be fully healed already. At this point, consult with your tattoo artist. Find out if you think you're probably fully healed. Go nuts, have fun. Your tattoo's all healed up. If you were unlucky enough to get a big old gauze wrap on there, and you're scabbing and you're peeling and it's gross and it's disgusting, hopefully that's done. But you're gonna wanna still be cautious for this one last week here. Wash it 3 or 4 times a day still. You don't have to go as crazy on the washing. It's probably completely healed, but we're just being safe on the safe side. Continue to moisturize as needed. If it gets itchy or painful or anything like that, or if you're still peeling a little bit, get some moisturizer on there. Good rule of thumb for me is if your tattoo peels and scabs, once it's fully done peeling and scabbing off, I like to wait at least 1 week before I start doing any kind of hot tubbing or swimming or anything like that. That's when I consider my tattoo fully healed. Now with that being said, one of the big things that you never ever want to do when you have a fresh tattoo within those first 2-3 weeks there is go swimming or submerge your tattoo in water. You're just asking for infection and it's really gross. So that means no swimming on hot summer days, no cliff jumping, and most importantly, no hot tubs. Hot tubs are ripe with bacteria, and that is not something that you want the water pressure getting your tattoo full of, and it's just gross to think about. And hot tubs are kind of gross in general. It's like a giant human stew, really, but why would you put an open wound in there? Just don't. So now, hopefully, you're at the end of 3 weeks, your tattoo looks great, and you're not having to worry about it anymore, but what do you do for the rest of your life? That's right, this is permanent, you got it on there forever, and there's actually aftercare till you're 85 and looking super dope with a bunch of wicked tattoos. Continue to moisturize regularly. I moisturize my tattoos once a day, and it just keeps them looking fresh. It keeps your skin healthy, it keeps your tattoos bright and shiny and that color looking great for as long as possible, and that's what you want, really. Like, if you got color tattoos, you want that color to shine through. So I continue to moisturize at least once a day. The other big thing, sunscreen. If you're going out in the sun, you're going to the beach, you're going surfing, anything like that, Sunscreen, sunscreen, sunscreen. Sun is the #1 killer of tattoos. It'll fade your ink so fast. I don't care about how pale I look. I care about how bright my tattoos look. These were a huge investment. They cost a lot of money. They took a lot of time. They're gonna be there forever. Why would you ruin them by baking your skin like a big leather hide in the sun? So now if you've gotten to the point where you're at the end of 3 weeks, your tattoo's fully healed, but oh no, it's lost some color, it's lost some lines, it's called touch-up time. So now you need to go back to your artist. 9 out of 10 times your artist is going to do touch-ups for free, which is great. You just go back there, you schedule a time, they take a look at what's faded, what needs a little bit more work, and they do it all for you for free so that your tattoo is going to look perfect when it's all said and done. If you do need to go get touch-ups, essentially start from square one, do this all over again, consider it a brand new tattoo. You can rewind if you need to, take some notes, because you're going to be doing this again for the next 3 weeks. But if you don't need touch-ups, then congrats, you're done. You got a tattoo, you're gonna look great for the rest of your life, and hopefully you're gonna love it for the rest of your life. And like I said, these are kind of my tips that I've used from getting tattoos for the past couple of years from multiple different artists across where I live in British Columbia, down in Southern California. Lots of different artists, lots of different backgrounds, and lots of different tattoo styles. So I've taken little bits and pieces and put them all together to create kind of my own tattoo aftercare guide, what I follow to get the best results. And your mileage may vary, and some artists are going to disagree with some things, some artists are going to have different ideas of what's the best way to take care of your tattoo, but really it comes down to the artist, how they tattoo, how your skin handles the tattoo, and how it heals. So there's going to be little different variables that you're going to have to consider, but these are what work for me. And so much so that my past 4 tattoos that I've had in the past using this method have not needed any touch-ups whatsoever. They look just as bright as the day that I got them, which is phenomenal, and hopefully they continue to stay like that for a long time. So if you liked this video, I know it's not the normal vlog that we usually have, it just seemed fitting. It's gross weather outside. It's actually dark now. I had plans, but I guess we'll do them later on in the week. And I just got a fresh tattoo, and I'm sitting here having to deal with this stuff every day. And people seem to actually enjoy the video about getting the tattoo, so why not how to care for it afterwards. So if you like this video, leave a comment down below, like the video and subscribe. They're right here. You can click those buttons right there. If you want to check out the real vlogs, what this content is actually all about, there's a card right up here. You can check out yesterday's vlog, or there's another one here right now, and you can check out the entire playlist, all 20 vlogs up until today, and I would really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Check back tomorrow. We're gonna have a real vlog where we do real things instead of me sitting in my kitchen talking to you about lotion. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I drove all the way down here to stick my leg in a hot tub and go home.